Ladies and gentlemen and programmers, we're going to do CodeAcademy Part 4, Section 5, Lesson 4, Section 5. Okay, so I want you to open up CodeAcademy, and I want you to read over there, and I want you to tell me if there's any questions you have. So this one, whenever you read this, your brain should probably explode. So I'm expecting some questions here. So read this over here. Write down some questions in your notes. Hit pause, and after you have written down your questions, and you can come back to this video. Okay, so classes. So let's take a look at what it says at the very beginning of the thing. It says classes, constructor parameters. We'll use a combination of constructor method and instance field to create instances with individual state. What does that mean? That makes everybody's mind explode. Basically, it means they're using the car analogy, and I'll keep using it too. So if you're playing the Forenza video game, right? So there's one car class, right? They didn't reprogram each individual car. There's one car class, but when you build each individual car, you say, hey, I want this one to be red and look like a Ferrari and to be really fast and have good handling. And this one's going to be some sort of poopy green color and be really fast off the line, but have terrible handling, right? So you can use the same class to make each individual thing. So basically, the constructor builds it, and so inside the constructor we'll have a field. So a field is another name for a variable, and so each of these guys is going to have a separate variable, have variables that are different. So this one's going to have a color variable that says red. This one's going to have a color variable that says poopy green. Okay, so let's review. So let's go back and review a little bit. So earlier we learned that an instance field, also called an instance variable, are the state of our object. So what that's talking about is, hey, so this car right now, he has a top speed of 190. So his variables are his state. So it changes the state of that object. It's like, oh, this guy can go faster than other guys, okay? An instance variable belongs to the instance of a class. So this variable belongs to this object, which is racing around in your game, okay? Another thing that we learned earlier, so this is review, is that a constructor is a special method that runs one time when an object is being created from a class, and it builds or constructs the object. And what we've learned now is that the constructor can build two objects from the same class that have some different characteristics or states. They have states that are different because their variables are different. Okay, here's a quick question. When you're building a car, when would we tell Java that one car is red and one car is blue and one car is yellow? When would we do that? Okay, and then the next quiz question is like, how many times would you need to tell Java that your car is red? And then the next quiz question is, where would you tell it this information? Hopefully you get that right. So the answer is, I'm not telling you. No, I'm just kidding. I'll tell you. So the answer is, when would you tell Java that our new car is red? Right when it's first being built or constructed. How many times do you need to tell Java that the car is red? One time. Where's somewhere where we can tell something one time right when it's being constructed? That would be the constructor, is a special method that runs one time when the object is first created. So when are we going to, so that next question is, where would we tell it this information? In the constructor. Hopefully that wasn't a trick question. All right, let's keep looking at this thing. It says right here, we'll use a combination of constructor method and instance field to create instances with individual state. What does that mean? Well, we already answered that. Hopefully you can answer that in your notes. What it means is that each class is going to have objects that have different states, which means it has different values in their instance variables. And we're going to do that in the constructor. Okay, write this down. This is a new concept. A parameter is a way to pass in additional data to a method. It is always inside of the parentheses. It's always inside of the parentheses. So here's an example of a parameter. So when we, in this constructor, so here's the class header or signature, public class car. Here's the constructor. Notice that they have the same name. They look real similar. Okay. And inside here we have this new thing that we're learning about. It's called a parameter. Okay, let's talk more about a parameter. So let's talk about something more simple than building a car. So let's say that you create a method called jump, right? So you'd say if you were to create this method, you'd say void jump int how high. So in here, this is the parameter, right? Because if I say jump, what extra information do we need? Well, how high are you going to jump, right? You might want somebody to jump an inch. You might want somebody to jump 3 feet. So you're going to need to pass in additional data to this method. It's like I can't. If you ask the Java to jump, it's not gonna know how high to jump. So you're going to have to tell it pass in this additional data. How high? By the way, it's an integer, so it's going to be a whole number, and the name of this variable is how high. So you're passing in that additional data to the jump method. Okay, let's jump back to our scenario here. Let's see if I can get my head out of the way. All right. Um, okay, so here's kind of the way it works. So this right here is the class header, public class car. It says from here to here says, hey, I'm showing you how to build a car. And then here, you're creating an instance variable called color. It can only hold letters, right? And so right now, color is, so let's say it says later on, we're going to build 2 vehicles. So we build a new car and a new car. Well, to start off with, when we just say string color, what's colors in it? We don't know. It's empty. So you have an empty state or empty field or empty instance variable that's attached to this car and also this car. So they both have the same variable color and color. But if I say new car blue, well, then this one's going to be filled with blue and this one's going to be filled with yellow. In this case, this one's going to be filled with red and this one's going to be green. Okay. So so check this out. When I say new, remember that keyword activates our constructor. Oh, okay, we're gonna run this method that's gonna create a car. And this time though, it has a parameter. And so you say, hey, give me a new car. And let's say that this was empty. Well, the Java would say, well, I can't build you a new car because I need to know what the car color is. And so that's why you in the parameter you put blue. So you say new car blue, and then it shoves blue in here, right? And then down here it says color equals car color. So it passes from car color into color. And so now your variable would be red or green or whatever it is. Okay, that's a little complicated. Hopefully we explained that well. Okay, so um, here's a quiz question. So we just talked about this whole thing where you have the um, all this. What does the new keyword do? Write that down in your notes. What does the new keyword do? The new keyword activates your constructor public car, and it's actually going to build the car, doing everything is from here to here. In this case, all we're doing is we're assigning the car color to our variable called car. Okay, man, that was crazy. Okay, let's jump back to CodeAcademy. And we're going to go to, where's CodeAcademy? I can't find it. There it is. Okay, so all that to say, okay, so what are we going to do? Okay, it says right here, it says, okay, so now instead of building cars, we're building a store. It says add the string parameter product to the store constructor. Okay, so where's the store constructor? It's right here, public store. Okay, and it says it wants us to add a parameter. So where do parameters go? Parameters go inside the parentheses. And so what's the data type of this parameter? It's going to be string. And then what's the name of the local variable we're going to use? Product. Okay, so now what's going to happen is if we try to create a new store object, we're going to have to tell it what kind of product do we sell at that store. Okay, and then we're going to hit run. Okay, and so then now we're in number 2 inside the constructor method. Inside the constructor method. Okay, so right here is the constructor method. So we're going to go over here to line 7, and we're going to set the instance variable product type. Notice product type's already been created, string product type. So we don't have to say string product type again. In fact, we can't. It's already been created. There's already a box called product type. So now we just need to set product type equal to product. So we're going to say product type equals product, and we always end our Java sentences with a semicolon, and we hit run, and we are done. Good work.